What's up, movie fans, and welcome back to a brand new episode. My name's Pat Carrick.
And I'm David Mayer.
And this is the show where we have no choice but to drive 100 miles to the closest cinema to watch the latest movie so we can help you decide whether it's worth the drive.
Today we are going to see Jumunji Welcome to the Jungle. It's directed by Jake Kasdan and it stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kevin Hart, Jack Black and Karen Gillan. I'm actually pretty excited. I haven't been. I've seen the posters, I've seen the trailer in the cinema, and I've been thinking to myself, you know what? It's not going to be Jumanji. It's not going to be like the original Jumanji, but now we're actually going to see it. I find myself getting quite excited.
Yeah, well, I think if you look back at The Rock's remake resume this year, it's been a bit of a stink fest, but I'm hearing through the rumor mill that it's somewhat of an enjoyable film, which is why I'm interested and kind of want to go see it, as was a big fan of the original.
I grew up with it. I was kind of maybe a little bit older than the right age, but I was around about the right age for Jumanji.
I think it was certainly released around a time that was right for our age group.
Yeah, good film.
Yeah,
and I understand why they've updated it the way they have.
Yes.
I think that makes sense, particularly for an audience that's that age in this day and age.
Yep.
A couple of things I want to talk about. Cast, obviously. We mentioned The Rock.
I'm looking forward to see Jack Black, though, personally.
Again, he can be hit and miss. I mean, I think he's best in things like High Fidelity, where he's a supporting cast member and he just brings something a little bit extra to it. I know you like School of Rock.
I do. I think I love School of Rock. I think it's great. I think it's Jack Black at his best.
And other than that, you got Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart's. I've enjoyed a couple of movies Kevin Hart's in. Karen Gillan. If you don't watch Doctor Who, you might not know who Karen Gillan is.
I'm one of those people, actually.
She's Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right. Okay. I like her in Guardians of the Galaxy, and I haven't seen her in anything else apart from that. So to see her in a different character altogether, I'm looking forward to that too.
Another thing I really want to talk about with this film is the writing team. First of all, you've got Jeff Pinker, Amazing Spider-Man 2, The Dark Tower, and The Fifth Wave. They're not brilliant, but these are big. They're big movies.
They are big movies.
He's got some writing chops. Then you've got Scott Rosenberg, Con Air,
yes,
Gone in 60 Seconds,
yes,
and High Fidelity.
I like him.
And then you've got the writing team of Jake Kasdan and Chris McKenna. They were staff writers for American Dad.
Okay.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, there you go. You got my attention.
The Lego Batman.
Okay.
They're in for the Spider-Man sequel.
Cool.
And they're doing Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's a writing team.
After last week's debacle of Star Wars: The Last Jedi, where my expectations were through the roof, my excitement was at an all-time high.
Yeah.
It's actually quite relieving going into this movie where I'm really not expecting anything at all.
Well, it's funny you should mention Star Wars, because I would quite like to have something I've loved since my childhood reward me with its remake.
True, yeah. Let's see if Jumanji can do what Star Wars couldn't.
Yeah.
Baby, it's cold outside.
We'll have no Christmas singing from you.
You better watch out. You better not cry.
You only have to deal with this for about 10 minutes. I got to deal with this all the way home. So let's distract him by getting straight into Jumanji.
Oh, man.
We joked about whether Jumanji could do what Star Wars couldn't, and you know what? For me, it did.
It did. It totally did.
Cast-wise, The Rock was The Rock, but in this it was quite nice that he was a little bit, taking the piss out of himself, a little bit self-deprecating. Karen Gillan was good.
Yeah. I
think she's actually a pretty solid actor.
Just going back a little bit, I just want to talk about the whole idea of this film. Now we are in a world where remakes, sequels, reboots are rife.
Yeah.
A lot of people have complaints about this, that there's nothing original coming out of cinema. Usually those complaints arise when it's a bad movie. But I won't hear anybody, I don't think, have a backlash about this movie, because it takes the essence of the original and updates it for the modern era perfectly.
The way they've updated it to be a computer game actually works really, really well.
I can't think of a better movie that encompasses a video game and highlights all of what a video game is in such a fun way.
Yeah, at a particular era of video games as well.
Yes.
Now, you reminded me already once today, who plays Murray in Flight of the Conchords?
Rhys Darby.
So he's in this, and he is the kind of the character that gives the protagonists all the bits between the levels of the game, shall we say. It's just done perfectly. The script of it, and I can imagine reading it on the screen with that really sort of rubbish 16-bit picture of the character.
Yeah.
You know?
So we have 4 kids who all find themselves in detention in a kind of Breakfast Club type of way.
Yeah.
And I kind of had my preconceptions of how these characters would be. And throughout the film, as they grow, I was really taken aback about my own stereotypes for these people and how they were kind of shattered.
I thought the thing that The Rock and Karen Gillan and Jack Black did really, really well was representing they were the avatars of these kids.
Yeah.
Representing the character of those kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did brilliantly, and Kevin Hart was kind of just Kevin Hart.
While we're on the subject, Jack Black, love him.
He's definitely the best thing about this.
Oh man, he plays a teenage girl like no one else, and he does it so subtly in such a way that anything he said and did either had me laughing out loud or at least internally giggling.
Yeah,
it was fantastic, and the idea of it was fantastic.
Nick Jonas.
Yes,
Fair play to Nick Jonas.
You know, he did a fine job, and in comparison to such talent that we saw on screen throughout the film, when his character is introduced, I kind of felt him as a weak link of the ensemble. But in saying that, he didn't bother me too much. He just didn't do anything that kind of kept him on the level of, say, The Rock, Jack Black, Kevin Hart. He was a little bit more subdued throughout his storyline. I loved even some of the throwbacks that they had to the original film. They didn't shove them in your face.
Yeah, they
peppered them in nicely, and I was always fascinated in the sense of Alan Parrish's journey when he was in the game.
Yeah.
When he came out, I was like, what was it like? He lived in the jungle. What was it? And you actually get to see a little bit of that. And I found that just a nice little nugget in there for the fans of the original.
There's a lot of visual effects in this film.
Yes.
I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot of visual effects in this film.
Yep.
They're animating a lot of animal characters.
Yep.
It's not on the level of the likes of the live action version of The Jungle Book.
Right, yeah.
But there's very few moments where the effects took me out of the movie, and even then there was only 1 or 2 moments that were particularly bad, I thought.
See, I think this is a perfect example of when a budget or the visual effects in a film aren't necessarily a forefront of the film, because you're having such a fun ride in the film. You kind of just let it slide. Like, I saw some things visual effects wise that weren't that great. A lot of green screen in some action sequences and stuff, but I didn't care because 2 reasons. 1 is having such a great time, and 2, we were kind of in a virtual world, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure.
You could kind of, pass it off as a kind of an excuse of that we're in a video game and it doesn't really need to be.
Yeah, I think you're bang on. I think that's completely right. What I would say is it's definitely a movie for kids, and I think I went in with a mindset that this is for kids, so I kind of have to enjoy it on that level.
On that level, I was thrilled with this film, and just to echo your sentiments, you can't go in expecting a very complex storyline. It's not. You don't have it. When it comes to the villain, you don't actually know too much about them. Doesn't really matter. It's for kids. It's for heroes and action sequences that were just stellar. And recently I saw the new Power Rangers. So let's compare it to that. Same age group, bunch of kids get these powers and they're dealing with their own issues at home.
Yeah.
Execution wise, this smashed the Power Rangers.
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, should we wrap this up?
Yeah, I think we probably should. We got to get to some scores because of the way it carried on from the original, and because of its own quality. That's the other thing I really don't want to forget here, is its own genuine quality, and some of the performances, particularly that of Jack Black. I'm going to give it around 80.
An 80?
A solid 80.
Nice. Yeah, I can't agree with you more. I walked out of that film just really excited to talk about it. I was
Yeah.
just like, this has been a breath of fresh air. We've come down this road again and again, and the ones that we really are really anticipating have let us down for the most part. Yeah, I am a big Jumunji fan. I'm even a bigger Jumunji fan after watching that. I'm going to give this film 87.
Nice.
For what, I'm not saying it's a film for everyone, but for a film meant for a certain audience, I feel like they just crushed it.
I can't wait till it comes out on Netflix or whatever to watch it again so that I can watch the original and then go straight into that.
Totally. And I love that they just really tastefully addressed the board game too.
Oh,
that was nice. That was nice. I felt
Yeah.
included.
Absolutely, I agree. And so there you go, Jumanji, definitely worth the drive if you're looking for a film to go and see with the whole family, any age, over the Christmas holidays. I can't think of another film I'd pick. If you enjoyed this video, please comment, please like, please share.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
I shouldn't have reminded him. We'll catch you later on down the road.